going to do a little bit of standing work. So if you need to use a chair for some balance, please, I invite you to do that. You may or may not need it. And so a little bit of work into the legs and a little bit of lightness into the upper body. I'm going to incorporate a hand mudra this morning. Mudras are, mudra means a seal or gesture or a embodiment. It's almost as if we use them, they're symbolic gestures that we use using our fingers and our hands. And they're a very good way of facilitating the flow of energy in the subtle body, while at the same time creating maybe a little bit more inner awareness and harmony. The one that we're going to do today is called the Apana Vayu Mudra. Anyone who's done any work with me in classes will know that I sometimes use this. So you can either get your index finger to come in to rest in thumb, or you curl it. Sometimes I curl it as well. And then your middle finger and your fourth finger, you bring those together, just at the tip of the thumb. So this is very much connected, this mudra, this hand mudra, is very much connected with our heart center, with the heart. And it balances the elements of earth and fire and air within us. And I will often say that our hands, like our hands, our arms and our shoulders, are like these little pathways to our heart. Our heart center, so in yogic terms we talk about our heart center being in the center of the chest. So we use our hands to give and we use our hands to receive. So there's a lot of symbolism in our hands, and particularly those of us that would tend to use our hands a lot. You're kind of aware of everything our hands create as well. They can create and they can destroy as well, but all very much connected to our heart center. So that's kind of why I like this hand gesture, the Apana Vayu hand gesture. So I'll do that. We're going to incorporate that into a little bit of our warrior. I'm aware that I might be a little bit crooked on Instagram there. Well, maybe not, I'll see. Hi Margaret. So also I'm going to do a little bit of the bee breath. We'll do a few rounds of the bee breath. Really good to incorporate that sound. Anytime we can incorporate sound into our practice, into our nervous system, it has a really nice calming effect. And it also as well helps elongate the exhale naturally. So we're not really doing it with any effort, so that's always good. And then finally, I wanted to show you this lovely book. So it comes up the other way around. I know when I'm doing it on my laptop, it shows it, it mirrors it perfectly. So it's backwards now when you're looking at it. But it's called, let me see, can I do that the other way? Probably not, no. It's called Silence in the Age of Noise, and it's by a gentleman called Erling Kage. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. He's Norwegian. He's a Norwegian explorer, and he spent 50 days walking solo across the Antarctica, and his radio was broken. And this led him to kind of go into a little bit more of what silence is and how that affected him. And he even writes, what is silence, where can it be found, and why is it more important now than ever? So he doesn't just talk about his time when he was out there. He talks about bringing it back into his house. He lives with his kids and it's a noisy house, and he talks about finding silence and all of that. And then some of the pictures, he's got these gorgeous pictures as well, and that's a space backwards. So it's really lovely, and it's a nice one that you can kind of pick up and put down again. And there was a quote in it, I actually had it marked out, and of course I took the thing out. Oh yeah, here it is. Silence is about rediscovering through pausing the things that bring us joy. And it has a lovely little swirly cloudy picture there. Silence is about rediscovering through pausing the things that bring us joy. And then the next sentence is, my children hardly pause anymore. I think that could probably be all of us. They are always accessible and almost always busy. Everyone is the other. No one is themselves, wrote Martin Heidegger. Yeah, so he talks a little bit about smartphones and that type of thing as well. It's a really, really nice read. I've given this as a gift to a few people as well, and that's the hard copy. It's lovely. Here's a picture of him in this Norwegian jumper. Okay, so let's get a little bit of our practice going. So I invite you now to come and sit in a comfortable seated position, whatever is comfortable for you. Be it on your chair. So if you are using your chair, set at the start if you'd like to use your chair for balance, or to do the practice seated, you may choose to do that. Some of us that have been doing the chair yoga with me will kind of know their way around that. But even if you need it for balance, we're going to be doing some standing poses today, as well as our little Apana, Vayu and Mudra. Okay, so let's come to center ourselves, allow ourselves, invite ourselves to be in this space, welcome ourselves home, welcome ourselves back to the space, settling in to a steady seated position. Invite a little bit of silence in now. Allow that silence to come and rest in the heart center. Allow the body to be held by the earth, supported in your seat. The body breathing itself. And we as observers watching how the body does this. Watching the body breathe itself. Welcoming in the inhale, and letting go the exhale, making space for the next breath in. And if you like, here can be a nice place to welcome in an intention, be it for your practice this morning, or for the week, for the day. An intention, affirmation, a positive statement you say for yourself in the present tense. And repeat that mentally 3 times. How would it be to turn the attention again back to the breath, watching the body breathe itself for a moment or two. And then slowly, gently, at your own pace, in your own time, beginning to lengthen and deepen the breath. Breath by breath, it doesn't have to happen all at once. Slowly, gently lengthening and deepening the breath. So if you've never done the B breath before, it's where we breathe in through the nose, and then as we're breathing out, we make a humming sound. So don't worry if there's anyone around you, they can have a good giggle at you. But it is a lovely way of getting the nervous system to calm, and then gently elongating the breath at the same time, naturally, without us even noticing it does it. So we're going to do a few rounds of this, taking your own time doing it. But when you feel ready, Breathing in through the nose, and as you breathe out, humming that hum sound. We'll do 2 more rounds. After your final hum, let the breath come back to its everyday rhythm. See, can you notice that little residue of that hum or that breath practice? And when you feel ready, again, welcoming yourself back into the space. Perhaps invite a little bit of movement into fingers and toes. And then slowly, gently opening the eyes, bringing your focus back into the space. Perfect. So I'm going to move back just to the back of the mat here. So I know anyone watching on Facebook, you might not be able to see my feet completely, but I'll try and explain exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so just to warm up into the legs a little bit, if we stand wider than hip distance, and we just get a few little hip circles in, you can let the knees become soft, the hands can be on the hips or onto the knees, whatever you like. Get a little bit of movement in here before we start moving into the legs. And then we can go the other way. That's it. Perfect. So I'm going to show you a couple of variations of the standing poses that we're going to be doing. We're going to be moving from a warrior 2 into a kind of like a windmill position where we're using the arms, but I'll give you a couple of variations on that. So to get into our warrior 2, if you allow the legs to be maybe 3.5 feet, and then we're going to have toes pointing of one foot to the top of the mat, and then the back leg, it's almost like you just kind of let the foot come at a little bit of an angle, so it's like you kick the heel out a little bit. Have a look down, make sure you're heel to heel to instep. And then in the warrior 2, we're bringing a bend into this knee. So be mindful of knees. As with anything that we do, always make sure that you're listening, that you're not working into any areas of pain. You want to feel comfortable when you do this. There may be a little bit of unfamiliarity, or sometimes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but just make sure there's no pain associated with that. So if you think that you want a wider stance, you can always let the legs come out a little bit wider. We're letting the hips move down. We're keeping a bend in the knee. Keep the knee stacked over the ankle joint. And then we're going to float the arms up. I'm going to bring my top up a little bit. We're going to float the arms up, and shoulders are soft. Elbows can be soft, so you're not kind of super rigid. Just allow everything to be soft. And then if you turn your head, your drishti, your gaze is going to be to that middle finger of that arm that's kind of over the bent knee. Perfect. So here we take a couple of breaths. If you like, you can even gently draw your belly button back towards your spine, maybe about 20%, just to help engage that abdominal area. Okay, so one variation of this is where we get that back hand and you're going to bring it forward and then behind. So you're breathing in, bringing it up and then down. And if you want to take this a little bit further, what you would do is bring a bend into that front arm and let it come down onto the knee. If you are used to this in your practice, you can always get your hand to come down to the floor and do it. So you may choose to come here and then do the same thing, do that little windmill where you bring the arm in front. So either here or here. So if you've done a few of them now on this side, you could even go the opposite direction. And if you want, even let your gaze, if your balance is okay, you can let your gaze come and watch. This could also be done with your hand on the chair, if you're using the chair, or if you're seated on the chair, getting yourself into that warrior 2 position. Chair yoga Tuesday tomorrow as well. Okay, and then we're going to breathe in, come up, and then we're going to exhale, and you gently straighten that leg, turn the foot forward, and then we're going to do the other side. So we're going to point those toes forward, have a little kick into that heel. We're going to bend that knee so we come into the warrior. The hips come down, make sure that your knee stays stacked over the ankle. If you need a bit more space, you can scrunch the toes forward and then float the arms up. We take a breath or two in the actual warrior position, so your gaze is over that middle finger. And then you're choosing either to do your little windmill in the warrior position, or you're bending the elbow and the forearm rests. Okay. And then see how it is if you go the opposite direction. Incorporate the breath, so you're breathing in, it brings you halfway. As you exhale, you're coming back down. And again, this can be done in the warrior position either. So you choose what works for you, what fits you. Perfect. Let's do one more here. And then we're going to come up, straighten that front knee, turn the toes forward. And we're now in this kind of wide leg stance. And from here, we're going to work our way down. So if you have blood pressure, don't come all the way. High blood pressure, don't come all the way, come halfway. So if we bring the arms up, now you can do this with the hands on the waist, a little bend in the knees, and we're going to come halfway. So you can always place your hands onto the knees as well. This is a little bit stronger when you bring them out in front. Okay, a couple of breaths here or here. Gently draw the belly button back towards the spine. And then you're choosing, the next time that you breathe out, as I said, if you have high blood pressure, stay where you are, or you're coming down all the way. Keep that little bend in the knees, that soft bend in the knees, and coming all the way down. If your hands come down to the floor, just get them in line with the feet and let the head hang. And take a breath or two here. And then when you're ready, gently pressing into the feet, coming up halfway, place the hands above the knees, as if you were looking into a pond, shoulders away from the ears. And then when you're ready, press into the feet again, breathing in, coming all the way up, arms coming down, and then do a little heel toe back to center. Perfect, great. Okay, so that is a nice way in and out transition, and then doing something in your warrior pose as well. The next one I'll show you, we'll finish on this one, is our victory or goddess pose. So again, the legs can be hip distance, or the legs can be wider than hip distance, they can be 3, 3.5. It just depends on knees as well. So be mindful of knees, not working into any pain. And then this one, I like to have the feet just a little bit out, so that when I do bend the knees, they're still tracking over the feet. They're not coming in, they're tracking over the feet. So in this, we're going to be coming down into our seat. So this is quite strong into the legs as well. So coming down into the seat, or if that's not comfortable, just come up halfway, or use the wall. come against the wall as well. If you're sitting in the chair, sit right to the very edge of your chair. And then we're going to bring the arms up. Okay, so when we breathe in, we're going to breathe in, come up. As you breathe out, we're going to make a little fist and come down. So our victory or goddess pose. I also call this Beyonce's pose as well, because you feel like Beyonce when you do it. Breathing in, coming up. Breathing out, coming down. It's a powerful stance as well. Take on the weak now with this. Breathe in, come up. Exhale, come down. We're going to do 2 more if that feels okay for you. Breathe in, come up. And then breathe out. Inhale. And then the last one, little fist coming down. Taking that stance. If you want to stay here for a breath or 2, just building up that heat, that strength into the legs. And then open the fingers. So we're inviting that lightness now into the upper body. Grounding, earthing for the legs. Sunshine, lightness in the upper body. And then when you're ready, breathe in, come up. And then exhale, arms come down. And then you can either step forward or do your heel toe back to center. What a great way to get energy flowing. I can even feel my breath has changed. And you might even get the little bit of the heart rate going as well. So that's really, really good. Okay, so let everything settle there. We'll stand in a mountain pose. I'm going to finish off our practice today standing in our mountain pose. The feet are grounding into the earth, supported into the earth. If it helps you, you can visualize those roots coming out of your feet, roots of a strong tree trunk going all the way down. And keep us grounded for the week ahead. Keep us earthed and centered. And if you like, closing our practice either palms together or resting over the heart center. Or if you want, take your little Apana, Vayu, Mudra. I actually forgot to incorporate that into our thing. And what can be nice is if you just bring that down at the hands. That's what I meant to do, is I meant to show you that one. Might do it tomorrow in the chair. But even in our mountain pose, we can hold it. So breathing in and out, letting the breath settle. Feet grounded to the earth. And perhaps even pick out those points of contact now in your hand mudra, your hand gesture. Where the fingers meet each other or meet the hand. And then noticing the breath, welcoming in each inhale, and gently releasing, letting go each exhale. And releasing the hand mudra, you can give the fingers a little wiggle and bring the palms together or hands resting over the heart center. And together we send a blessing to ourselves, to our loved ones, and to the collective, to all beings globally. May all be well, may all be happy, may all be free from suffering. May all be well, may all be happy, may all be free from suffering. Namaste. Thanks everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for Chair Yoga Tuesday.